Alright, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? DSP here, and welcome to the weekend preview for Sunday, August 6, 2017. I certainly hope that I find you well, and welcome to basically the final downtime week of the summer of 2017. What I mean by that is that after we get through this coming week, we're going to have non-stop new releases pretty much every single week. With a few exceptions here or there, but pretty much we're heading straight on headfirst into the hardcore gaming season, hitting the ground running with tons of new releases. Just to give you some perspective on some of the games coming out in the month of August, games like Agents of Mayhem, which is the new game from the makers of Saints Row. It even has Johnny Gat in it. Sonic Mania, the new 2D, more classic Sonic the Hedgehog game, the Uncharted standalone expansion, the beta for Call of Duty World War II, that Yakuza, I forget how to pronounce the final word, but it's basically the reboot of Yakuza 1, Life is Strange Season 2, Mario Cross Rabbids, plus there's other things too, like episodic games and things coming out this month, I believe, that I haven't even mentioned yet. That's just in August. We've got all that stuff I just mentioned, of course, plus my usual stuff, like I'm going to do an episode of Ask the King this month. There's a ton of stuff going on in August, and of course, as you know, September, October, November, no exception here. It's boom, 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 release after release after release, with maybe 1 or 2 weeks where it actually calms down a tiny little bit. So, that leaves us in a unique situation here of having just this week, and then we get into all that new stuff. So you might say, well, how are you going to end the summer downtime, Phil? You know, we've had an extended downtime now since late June, really, where there's been no high-profile new releases. How are you going to cover all that? How are you going to, you know, get into that summer downtime conclusion? Well, it's going to be variety. I'll be continuing on and hopefully finishing up some ongoing playthroughs that I've been playing. I'll be starting up a couple new things this week as well. This week also will see the return of Hate Live, my podcast, which I did not do all summer because, let's face it, number one, there wasn't a hell of a lot going on to really talk about on a podcast. And number two, because my voice has been shot all summer, it's finally this week starting to come back a little bit, even though it still sounds a little hoarse. It's still finally starting to have the stupid swelling go down, and the annoyance from my allergies every day is starting to pan off a little bit here. So I decided, let's do a big podcast this week. I'll talk a little bit about what's going to be on that podcast later in this very video, okay? So, it's going to be a lot of fun stuff. New games, continuing and finishing playthroughs, podcast, a lot of good stuff coming up this week. So let's get to it, and let me explain to you exactly what you can expect this coming week, all right? So, first off, immediately following my finishing of recording this video, I'm going to jump over to patreon.com. I'm going to set up the new forum thread by which July patrons can now nominate games for the upcoming downtime playthrough, the Patron's Choice playthrough that will take place probably mid to late September into early October. At one point there, when I get some downtime, that's when I'm going to start the downtime playthrough, all right? So that being said, if you were a patron in the month of July, first of all, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Head over to the website, because tonight I'm going to be sending PMs out to everyone who is a $5, $20, or $50 patron, because I need your information in order to get you your perks. So please check the website. The quicker you get back to me, all right, the quicker I can divvy out your perks. In particular, last month, it seemed like a lot of people dragged their feet. At the end of the month, they're like, oh, shit, I didn't get my perk. And then they try to ask for it last minute. I had to rush to try to get it. If you could get your information to me as soon as possible, I can get you your perks right away, okay? So, that's tonight. That's what I'm going to be doing immediately following, you know, me uploading this video and doing that behind-the-scenes patron stuff, sending out hundreds and hundreds of private messages. Tomorrow, I will be doing more Sonic Adventure 2 on stream. At this point, I'll be starting the evil side. I think they call it the dark side. So you had the hero side I completed today, and whoa, that last stage on the fucking hero side, I almost fucking gave up. Seriously. That's one of the rare times I was so angry at that stage, I was fucking looking for cheat codes online to see if there was a way to skip it. It was a pain in my fucking ass, but I beat it. So the hero side's done tomorrow. I'm starting the dark side of Sonic Adventure 2. Second stream tomorrow will be Danganronpa 2, okay? Now, Tuesday, all new content on Tuesday. No continuing playthroughs, nothing like that. It will be all new games. So, what will it be? Earlier in the day on Tuesday, I'll be starting up Hellblade on my first stream. This is a game from the makers of Devil May Cry. Now, as you know, Devil May Cry is dead. Devil May Cry was a franchise that was very popular all the way up to Devil May Cry 4. Then Capcom kind of put it on hiatus for a bit, then brought it back to reboot it to this horrible rebooted franchise no one fucking asked for. And now the franchise is done. Like, they've done nothing with it at all in so many years that, you know, some of the original dev team has gone off and made their own kind of spin-off. Not really, it's not Devil May Cry, but you know what I mean. From the makers of Devil May Cry, so I'm sure it's going to have game mechanics and things in there that are similar. And that's awesome, because I like the combat of Devil May Cry. Fast-paced, transitioning between weapons and stuff. Should be pretty cool. So that's Tuesday. I'm going to start that playthrough on first stream. Second stream on Tuesday, I'll be starting up Batman, the Telltale series, Season 2. That is premiering on Tuesday, and therefore, since I know those episodes are roughly anywhere from an hour to 2 hours long, that's going to be my second stream on Tuesday. So Tuesday, 2 new games, Hellblade and Batman, all right? Wednesday, I don't know exactly what I'll be doing on my first stream. It will either be Sonic Adventure 2 or more Hellblade. I'll have to make the decision based off of how things go on Tuesday, I guess. Wednesday night, we're going back to Danganronpa 2, okay? Thursday, there will be no gameplay streams early on in the day because I'm going to be doing Hate Live. It's the return of my Hate Live podcast. It'll start roughly around, let's aim for, let's say, 1 p.m. because typically when I do the podcast, it ends up running 2 to 3 hours long depending on breaks and stuff, and how many segments and stuff that I have to say or I have to present. In particular, here's what I want to cover on this week's podcast. First of all, I kind of want to do a quick recap of the entire summer, what I thought about the stuff that I did during the summer, and my plans to jump off of that, because there's a lot of lingering questions. Like, now people are saying, well, is Phil ever going to go back to Bloodborne? Will Phil do redemption runs of other kinds of genres of game besides Dark Souls? Will Phil play more Crash? Will Phil do this or that? I got a lot of questions to answer. So, one quick segment will be me talking about the summer, how it went, with all the downtime stuff, and basically letting you know what my plans are for some of that stuff that I did during the summer that maybe is lingering. Like, I just did the Indies Marathon last week. A lot of people were asking, will I ever go back to those games, etc., okay? So those questions will be answered. There will also be a segment regarding kind of current events and news, depending on what happens during the course of this week. The one story I do really want to talk about is the fact that YouTube is actually being sued by a major YouTuber. Not one of the gigantic, you know, I have 25 billion subs YouTubers, but a guy who has a couple million subs and basically is being forced out of business because YouTube's ridiculous, you know, company practices and changes and things that they aren't transparent about to anyone. And they're getting sued. I want to talk a little bit about that in depth on the podcast and maybe even get feedback of viewers, because that's the cool thing. Live podcast, I'll be able to see the stream chat and have people interact, you know. There's also going to be a segment that's going to be the big hardcore gaming season preview. What I'm going to do is kind of walk through the next 3 to 4 months and talk about every month the big heavy-hitting games that are coming out that I'm definitely looking forward to covering, and kind of gauge interest of people. You know, which ones do people want to see the most? Which games am I more anticipated for, or more excited for and anticipating more than others out of the new releases that are scheduled for the rest of this year? So that'll be a segment. And there's going to be a Q&A segment where I am going to open up the stream chat and talk with people in the stream chat back and forth for a little bit. So you figure between the summer segment, we're taking like 15-20 minutes. Current events will probably take 15-20 minutes, if not longer. Probably take a break. Then we'll probably do the fall gaming segment to go through all that. Will probably be like 30 minutes or more, right? And then take a break. And the Q&A segment will probably take 30 minutes or more. So we're talking upwards of 2 to 3 hours already. If anything else comes up, I'll definitely think about it to talk about on the show. But for now, I think that's kind of the rough agenda that I'm laying out for this week's Hate Live. All right, so Hate Live will be on stream roughly, let's say roughly 1 p.m. Pacific time this coming Thursday, okay? Then Friday, we'll return back to, Thursday night. I'm leaving it on the fence, and here's why I'm leaving it on the fence. I'm not sure, since I'm not doing a game earlier in the day, I might want to do either more Hellblade or more Sonic Adventure 2 that night. That way I have gameplay. I have to have some kind of gameplay. Because if I do Danganronpa again, now you got 2 ongoing playthroughs that people are watching, and I stop them for multiple days. I don't want to do that. So I'm thinking that's what I'll kind of do, is that Thursday will be Hate Live, and then either Sonic or Hellblade at night. And then Friday, whatever I didn't play at night, I played as the main game during Friday. And then Friday night, yes, I do another session of Danganronpa. And then I have Saturday, Sunday, and Monday to finish up Sonic, play more Hellblade. I don't know how long the game is. Maybe I'll finish it up and play a little bit more Danganronpa as well if I could squeeze it in there, all right? Now, the one thing I haven't mentioned is I have 30 or more, I'm not exactly sure how many, I think it's around 30 matches of Ultra Street Fighter 2 that I recorded yesterday. I did a big session of it on stream. By the way, the session was great. I actually was winning a lot. There were some really close matchups that I ended up winning that were really good matches. Were the connections good? No, the connections were awful. The game's awful on the Switch, but it was fun, and people on the stream really enjoyed themselves. So what I'm going to be doing is finding opportunities this week to upload those videos. So for example, Thursday, I'm not doing 2 gameplay streams. So maybe what I'll do is on Thursday, while Hate Live is uploading or whatever, I'll also upload some Ultra Street Fighter 2 videos, so that way I get some there. And then next weekend, since I'm not going to have time to do any fighting games next weekend, because I'm going to be finishing up Sonic and Hellblade and all that, I'll probably upload the rest of the videos over the course of next weekend, okay? So, more fighting game stuff coming too. If you're interested in it, that'll be coming to DSP Gaming this week as well. One quick thing about Wednesday of this week. I want to make everyone aware of this, okay? Up front, so everyone's aware and knows what's going on. Wednesday this week, as I already mentioned, is either going to be more Hellblade or more Sonic. I haven't decided yet what it's going to be on my first stream on Wednesday. However, this week I need to make a pot of Italian sauce. For those who don't know, this is a homemade recipe that has been passed down through my family for generations. It's the one major thing that I basically cook all the time. When I make it, I make a big pot of it so I can freeze it and have this for meals for months. It usually lasts some 2 to 3 months of meals spanned out, okay? But sadly, I have to do the sauce by myself. You know, as I've lived here for 3.5 years at this point, well, actually a little over 3 years. June was the anniversary. So about a little 2 months over 3 years I've lived here. Most of the time I lived here with my ex-girlfriend, and we split the work to make the sauce. Guess what? Not the deal anymore. Now I have to make it completely by myself, which means I'm doing all the prep work and everything, which means it's going to take me a lot longer to do it. The good news is, I don't think it's going to negatively affect the streams or anything that day. I think what's going to happen is maybe the stream will start a little bit later, but maybe not. Usually my streams start around 12:30. Gameplay starts around 1:30, depending on how long the pre-stream goes these days. And they last till around 5 p.m. That's actually perfect because the sauce actually takes about 4.5 to 5 hours to simmer. So if I started around 12:31 and I ended my stream around 5:30, that's perfect timing because then the sauce will be ready. But I need to have it ready, so I have to get up early on Wednesday and sit here for 2 hours of prep in the kitchen and everything. I probably will take pictures. More than likely what I'll do is I'll take pictures because I'm doing things a little differently this time. I'm actually going to be using chicken sausage because I can't really eat that much red meat. So I got chicken sausage this time I'm going to try. I'm going to do things a little differently, maybe season it a little differently or whatever. Maybe I'll take pictures and put them up on my Instagram during the day so you know the steps that I take to actually make the sauce. Plus, then you'll know what step I am in the sauce making process. So if I end up being late to stream, you know why. It's because, you know, I was taking longer to do the sauce than I wanted to. But that's what I'm thinking is on Wednesday I'll get up a little bit on the earlier side. And I'll try to get down there for 2 hours, get everything going, hopefully get the sauce simmering by 12:30 so I can get on stream and do a normal day. Now, the difference between that stream and normal streams, normal stream, usually I take one break, right? I play for about 1-2 hours. I take like a 15-20 minute break, and then I come back, and then we finish the stream. When I'm doing the sauce, I have to go downstairs every 20 to 30 minutes to stir, because if I don't stir, the sauce burns on the pot, ruins the whole sauce. You can't do that. And I need to season. If I don't season it during the course of the sauce simmering, it's not going to taste right. So there's 2 different things I have to do every 20 to 30 minutes. So there will be frequent breaks during Wednesday's stream. It only happens when I make sauce. It's every 2 to 3 months. It's not a huge deal. So everyone, yes, please prepare yourselves for this Wednesday will be a different kind of stream. All right. Again, I recommend Twitter and or my Instagram. You'll have the full details of what's going on when I'm doing that so that you'll know exactly when the stream will start on Wednesday. All right. So really, that's the week. We've got Sonic Adventure, Danganronpa 2, Hellblade, the new episode of Batman the Telltale series, Season 2, right? Premiering. Continuing on with all those games during the week, a saucy stream of me on Wednesday, and then Thursday, the return of the Hate Live podcast, and then just kind of going back to all that other stuff for the rest of the week. Next week, Agents of Mayhem, Sonic Mania. I'm interested, honestly, in doing a midnight stream of one of those games. Number one, I'm wondering what game would you want to see as a midnight if I was to cover one of the two, which would you like to see me play at midnight? Number two, I need to find out if they're available as midnight release games. What I mean by that is, are they going to be released on PSN so that I can play them and they unlock at midnight, or am I going to be one of those stupid situations where, oh, it's the East Coast can play it at midnight, but you have to wait till midnight your time. So really, I can't play it till 3 a.m. Eastern time. Or will it be one of those situations the game doesn't even unlock at all overnight, which is really fucking stupid in my opinion, especially when you do digital games. Why don't they unlock overnight? I never understood that. Sony never really gets their shit straight. But, yeah. What game out of the two would you be interested in seeing me do kind of a midnight release? You said, why still doing a midnight release? I haven't done one in a long-ass time. Now, because I live alone, there's no one that I'm bothering by doing a midnight release. You know what I mean? I have complete flexibility in my schedule, which is awesome. And I'm craving to do one because I want to start the hardcore gaming season with a bang. I'm like, here we go. I'm pumped, you know. I'm ready. Let's do a midnight 1 or 2 hours of gameplay, boom, and then hit the ground running the next day and do it. You know what I mean? I want to be excited. I want to get people reinvigorated that, wow, it's the season to come back and watch Phil again. I think that would be a perfect opportunity. So, let me know. Don't let me know in the comments of the video because I don't read YouTube comments anymore. But you can tweet me. Well, I missed that right there. I did not point properly. You can email me, darkstuffphil@hotmail.com. You can talk to me in the stream chat. There's many ways that you can reach me and let me know your opinion. Should I do a midnight release? And if I do it, should it be for Agents of Mayhem or Sonic Mania for that first week of big releases coming out? Okay? Fair enough? Everyone, sound good? I think this week's going to be good because it is the last week heading into the end of the summer downtime. Next week, boom, new release is going to be good. Okay? All right. Thank you for watching the Week in Preview, everyone. Without further ado, thank you to the following July patrons who made the upcoming Patron's Choice Downtime playthrough possible. Remember, if you're a July patron, check out patreon.com later tonight. You'll have a PM on there if you pledged one of the higher perk levels, and I need your information so you can start nominating those games for that playthrough, all right? Okay, everyone, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Have a good one. See you tomorrow for new gameplay.